Romanos.
Good evening. Today is Monday, September the 30th at 6:32 p.m. We'll call the special meeting to make up for the monthly meeting for the North Whidbey Pool Park and Recreation District in September to order. All commissioners are present. First, board issues.
So we know that the newspaper got the notification of this meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
But, Rex, do we know that the newspaper got the notification?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about it because I went to do my minutes for the July meeting last week, and I had kept pretty good notes, but I had a couple questions, and I always do listen to the meeting again, which is why I hate to do it, and the minutes were not available. And after a lot of looking, the minutes were not available to listen to for March, April, May, June, or July, including the special meetings they're in. And I just want it to be known to the director, this is important to us. This is part of our legal requirement to have the minutes available. And we have traditionally done this, not just with the paper copies, which only have they can be very limited, but to allow the public to listen to our discourse and our decision, why we make certain decisions, is important to part of the open public meetings. It's just critical. We try to be so open, and to have meetings not available for them to listen to is just wrong. And the fact that we went 5 months without being told, oh, by the way, these are just not being recorded in any way that is going to be available to anybody is wrong. We should have been told the first month that when March's minutes couldn't be downloaded, we should have been told, hey, this can't be downloaded, and here's the fix. We didn't get told that. It just went on and on and on, and you let the chair continue to record meetings, and they're just gone. And that is beyond wrong. And then my other point is, I didn't get my stuff. I came last Monday, as you remember. I was looking for my paper copies. They weren't available to me. I came in to get them today, not in my folder, so I don't know where they went to.
Well, I don't either, because I put them in there myself.
The girl out there looked in my folder and said there was nothing available except for 3 pages. So then you may have put them in the wrong folder.
That's very
Okay, so that was you. All right.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, I'm not trying to take
ahead.
anybody else's time, but closing on that. So they are not currently available. Will they ever be available, the audios?
I told them no, but I think now, yes. And here's the deal. For some reason, those minutes, traditionally, at least for the last 3 years, have been recorded onto what used to be Steve's computer, the director's computer. Okay. That computer was shut down from April of last year. Or April, yeah. Anyway, I haven't had a computer until last week or last month, late last month. So that's where the recordings are. But Julie at one point had the ability to go into everybody's computer. For whatever reason, I don't know, she doesn't anymore. So she can't check there. Okay, so that's there somewhere. You have to understand that our entire technological system has been redone, reworked, moved to a different place, and we're still in that process. We're almost done with that, but that's what I think is the problem.
And I do understand that. I'm just telling you, for 5 months, we have not been appraised. There's an issue with something that's really kind of important.
Well, it's not that it's really kind of important, it's the law.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
It's not just
it is the law that we have to record these meetings, and it's like
well, we don't have to record them, but but the problem is that there needed to be mitigation, so we needed to be made aware of it, so that hey, you got to get these out there. We have to do this.
My question is, we have computers and we have a server. So we're saving these to a single computer instead of the server. It is 2019. I think it says that on the minutes here somewhere. So I'm just curious as to why we're not using the server instead of a computer. Yeah.
Back from the mountains. I think we all know what year it is. I know where you're coming from. Yes, they were getting saved to the server, but from there they were instantly getting uploaded to our YouTube channel. So they were, I guess, becoming somewhat cloud-based. I recall sitting in a meeting at least 3 months ago, and we were told that there was an issue with them getting to the server. So I think some of this.
Right, I knew that was happening for a month when we
That
were
was for
moving.
the April minutes only.
Yeah.
And that was because the thing
Yeah.
We were moving off.
or didn't record.
But I knew at a certain point, I know that we knew that it couldn't be downloaded. This was probably 2 or 3 months ago, that it couldn't be loaded to the district's computer because we had talked about maybe trying it on your computer at your house because it wouldn't.
Well, I wasn't here for that.
And this was probably about 3 months ago. But again, I guess we can't listen to it.
Not my house.
So they have to go to a certain computer to go be downloaded to the server? We only have one computer that can download to the server?
The size of the cord or something.
It was the port.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That I can understand. We only have one computer that has a port that's compatible with the adapter.
That's true. Because the computer now is like this big.
So then maybe it's time to update the recorders?
Yes, we've had this discussion before.
I don't recall that. Do we have quotes for new recorders?
Probably. I just remember you saying it.
I've not seen a quote for a new recorder.
Here's what I thought, is as soon as we got told, we had one recorder we were using in April, and we got told because the other one, the port didn't work. So it's like we're down to one that works with the port. And then, and that one didn't record in April. And I remember saying we should get 2 that work with the things. And I thought that was taken care of. And we never got told again that I remember that it was still a problem. We got told the April minutes were not going to be available because they hadn't recorded because we were down to one thing because of the port problem. And I would have thought that you go out and you buy things that'll work with the computers they have, because, it's one thing, it's like, it takes us a month to figure out, oh, whoops, this didn't work right because of the port problem. But once you figure that out, it's like, fix it. This is something that's critical to the running of this district and obeying the law.
So by next month, can we have recorders that work?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
And if the things are still available out somewhere on the computer, can we get those minutes posted? And if they're not, tell us they're not and they're just gone.
We'll make it up.
All right.
And what you mean by that is
What I make
we'll
it-
record them from
yes,
our
thank
existing
you.
notes.
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to be
No,
clear that
thank you.
I know that's not what you meant.
Thank you very much. I
Way
appreciate
more
it.
accurate than the
Yeah.
White House. We got this.
All right. Thank you, Donna Sue. Further board issues?
I have.
Go ahead.
You all got the note from Nidra talking about the posting, she sent a note, I think, to everybody, posting, what some of our upcoming things that we're going to be working on, whether it's next year or, so that people are apprised of the fact that partly that we're aware of the need, and partly that, okay, we can expect maybe, say, new showers in the locker rooms next year. Just that kind of thing, so that the customers are aware of the fact that we're aware of, that we're not perfect yet.
They were not a whole.
What we actually need to do is the planning,
Maintenance plan.
right, is update the maintenance plan, which will then dictate what we know must be done, right?
Yes,
Because there
right.
are two categories, right, of to-dos. ones that
Absolutely.
must be done, and then things that we want to see done, right?
I agree completely.
But that's really the start of that, right?
And that should be tied into the budget, which we should be doing in the next month and a half anyway. So those are closely tied together, and I think after that, I think Nedra's point is relative once we come together as a board and decide, yeah, this is the maintenance plan for the next year, this is the budget for the next year, these are what we can do and would like to do and maybe wish to do. And then I think if we can do what we did during the levy and put it on one of those signs and put it up on the windows out here for people to see when they walk in, that might be a great idea. I think she's got a really good point.
And my other thing that I have has to do with scheduling. Scheduling.
Yes, ma'am.
For instance, when I know like Saturday the kayakers were here, but there's nothing on the schedule that says the kayakers were here, although there were notices put out, but being the non-noticing person that I am, I didn't really see, I don't look to see what every paper says. And so, there were 5 of us that showed up Saturday for volleyball, having it in our, schedules imprinted here. And there's nothing on the schedule that we have here that says, yes, Saturday the 23rd or whatever is,
kayaking.
yes.
From this time to this time, or whatever, yeah.
Right. So that's my other thing that I'm bringing up for consideration.
So one of the things that I am actually going to talk to Jenny about, I used this cool, with the music festival, I used this cool text solution for, basically, you use it for marketing, but you can also use it for things like schedule changes. And it would have a cost to it, but it might be worthwhile. So I was going to talk to her about it to see if that might be something that we could use so that somebody like you would say, hey, I want to sign up for text notifications.
Right.
Maybe you're going to get one about something that's other than the time you want to be there, but you could say, well, okay, whatever, delete.
Brad Giswold and I, we're showed up Thursday night, right?
Oh.
We didn't know it was canceled. Why would we?
Right, and so it would allow people to subscribe and be notified via text message for things like schedule changes or whatever the district saw it fit for. But it's super slick and it's super cool, and it's on my list because that is not a new problem, but it should be a problem that we can find a solution to. Anyway, sorry, I know I'm talking way too much in other people's space. But.
Good. Anything else?
Those are my only 2.
Shane? Agenda changes.
Let me ask you a question before we move on, if I can. Does anyone here remember early on, probably 8 months ago or so, that I presented a maintenance schedule, like the one you're talking about, that had priorities and had 3 different parts that said, this is now, this is next, and this is in the future? Do you remember that?
Yeah, but we have a maintenance plan already.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, no, we have one from 2 or 3 years ago, and that's really the format that we're looking for. So that was one of those. I think we felt like tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I felt like it got us by. But I want to go back to that original format because that's.
It was the original format, and I added to it. I updated
Okay,
it.
I don't remember that because I don't remember reviewing that.
Because there was a significant number of things that have changed, which is one of my presentations.
What presentation?
The presentation that I talked about this morning in your email.
Oh, okay. My wireless adapter, well, first of all, I haven't had a chance to check my email today, but my wireless adapter died. But, so if there's a presentation, I was unaware of that.
It's not on the agenda yet, and it's probably not going to make it on the agenda.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
It's not going to make it.
that's what I said. Had it been ready last Thursday, when we should have had our meeting, but we failed to have the meeting because the 24-hour notice wasn't out
Well, that's
in the presentation,
it was out.
excuse me. Had it been ready for last Thursday, when we should have had our meeting, then yes, I would have said, hey, it was ready last week, let's have it. But it wasn't ready till, no,
It was-
you're done, you're done. Don't interrupt me again.
Point of order.
Yes, point of order, exactly. My point here is, excuse me,
My point, you're gonna get us sued.
all right? My point
Okay, we
here
don't
is,
need no more hostile shit.
excuse me.
No.
My
We
point,
don't need no more
Shane,
hostile
excuse me,
stuff.
I'm
Guys.
done.
So let's bring it down.
My point here is, Rex, it wasn't ready till this morning. Had the meeting gone out last Thursday, as it was expected to, this presentation would have been part of the agenda. Therefore, I, as the chair, am not going to allow it added to the agenda tonight. Thank you. Board issues.
Agenda changes.
Agenda changes. Shane.
I don't know where to go with things. Can we please put 6 at number 3 though? I have to leave it on 7:30.
Anybody object to moving 6 to number 3?
Nope.
Lenny?
I think the only thing that I have to say about it is I think the objective, when I thought I was chairing the meeting and I talked to the chair about this, many of these things I think we're gonna try to look at ways to take them offline to actually get the work done, because we keep, so anyway, just strategy wise, so hopefully that will shorten things up and take the work offline. Okay.
Any further agenda changes? Wendy?
No, thank you, sorry.
Pat?
Next.
All right, no agenda changes. Approval of minutes. I didn't see any minutes in the package.
Yeah.
Okay. Voucher review.
Public comments.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sorry.
No, I appreciate that. Before we get to voucher review, since I skipped it, public comments.
You know, the last few meetings, I cleared my schedule and made sure that I was in here just because I feel like it's my responsibility to get myself up to speed and know what's going on, because they're very important things that we're deciding every month. But we keep tabling things and canceling things, and we have a public relations problem. I had a meeting with my accountant today, who is the president of the Chamber of Commerce. And we are really not doing much to communicate what's going on at the pool with the public. And Pat, I think we all know there's an issue here. I mean, what's next for the pool? I came on Sunday with my grandson, lights were out, it was leaking like a sieve. We know the roof's beyond its life expectancy, but everybody sees these things and they wonder, well, is there a bid out? What's the plan? And if you think you're replacing a roof in May without bids and signed contracts, that have to be done now. I'm doing a major remodel, and you can barely get on a schedule in this town, okay? These contractors are busy. And it seems to me like we're spinning our wheels, tabling things, the community's wondering what's going on. We have some serious work to do, and I know we all know it, and I know we all want to get that work done. I believe that wholeheartedly. But it's time to get down to business. And I was not very happy Thursday when I got here and left a football team dinner, and it was canceled for whatever reason, because I think my stuff's just as important as your stuff, Sean. You know, grapes, football, whatever. But when we say we're going to be here, we need to be here, and we need to get this stuff done.
So do you understand how the meetings go out?
Yes.
So, wait,
But it doesn't matter. We still don't get anything done in any of the meetings we show up for. It's tabled. It goes on to the next week, the next month. And here we are again. We don't have a roof bid. We don't have a maintenance schedule that the public's aware of. There's nothing posted. It's great to sit here at these meetings and say, oh yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah. I want more action.
And if people don't want to do that, then they should say, hey, I'm not really that vested. My heart and interests lie elsewhere. I'd like to be replaced. Because it's time to get this stuff done. I don't want to go back to business as usual, and that's what's happening. And
Anybody else? Cool. Voucher review.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve vouchers 8301 through 8341 in the amount of $29,555.94.
Second.
Hold on, I need to write that.
So we have a motion for the vouchers for $29,555.94. And a second. Discussion.
I'll second.
Shane seconded. Thank you. We had a compromise card. What was that about?
compromise card?
The card was compromised on page 13. I would like the answer. Yes, please. Thank you.
I received a call from Heritage Bank that they had received notification that the card had been compromised through one of their credit monitoring systems. So the options were to pay for expedited replacement of the card or to wait potentially 21 days for a replacement card to arrive. Because it was the only district credit card that we had to use for billing of things like our QuickBooks for payroll processing, our point of sale system, I opted to have them expedite delivery for us.
And we didn't receive any bogus, I didn't see any
No.
weird charges.
No, there were
So,
no fraudulent charges. They just did it as a precautionary measure.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes?
do we have cards been applied for Matt and Jenny?
I don't think they can because the signature issue.
Yeah, no, it's been
It's been done for over, yeah, a month. That was done.
Is
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
is there a reason?
Well, the main reason is I'm approving whatever it is that they spent until we have the process in place where they have a budget, each of them.
Well, they have a budget. I mean, the process isn't necessarily going to change.
Well,
They have a budget.
Well, I understand that, but it's not like they can't just spend willy-nilly. That's what I decided I oversee at the time.
Okay, I guess I feel like that's a bit confining when, I mean, we have people that, they do have budgets. And previously, and I'm not saying that we go back to that just because it's the way it was, but previously, you know, for example, the maintenance person had other things that were unrelated, not necessarily the best process, but part of it was sometimes we had to make things work. And I guess it feels a little too confining when I know that previously there were issues about, well, we don't have room on the credit card for this, and we don't have it on that. To me, that's a concern.
Well, I don't know if Matt finds it confining or not, but I don't think there have been any times that any of them have come to me and said, this is what I want to do, it's the process that I've established.
Okay, it worked well in the past, so I guess I don't see why we are we have made our world smaller because of it. To me, I think it's restrictive unnecessarily, but that's the way that you decide that you want to do it, then I guess that's how we're doing it for now.
Well, it seemed as though to me that old Matt, was the one that had a car, and that was what we were all working off of, and it just didn't seem very practical because he's been gone for a long time.
Oh, absolutely, but that's not what I'm talking about. We had 3 senior staff people with, well, actually, we had 4 senior staff people. Okay, and I'm telling you, but there's been plenty of time to become aware of that. We had 4 senior staff people with cards. So that's, I think my expectation was that when things got back to normal, I mean, right, we see everything that everybody spends. So I wouldn't expect anybody, because I would think that it's part of the performance criteria, that if somebody's spending willy-nilly, that's a job performance issue. But, we can certainly let that go. You've said that's how you want to do it? Okay.
Yeah, I would, well, I would have issue with that norm.
And this was not a process that was ever a problem. So of all of the back to normal things that I would have a problem with, this is not one of them. It's never been an issue. We've always had visibility of it. We've always had the ability to ask questions about it.
And you still do?
Well, we do, but they don't have the freedom in their job, in their workspace, to just do something that they know that they need to do anyway. That's the difference.
And we had to pay $35 to get this card expedited because we only had the one card. Whereas we would have saved $35.
With a really low balance, a really low
Limit.
That's an issue.
That's part of what I'm talking about.
And my comment would be that since they're both relatively new on the job, maybe you have a 6-month or, a waiting period before they have a call. That's just kind of the way I think.
And I get that. I mean, when I went to work for IBM, they handed me one the day I walked in the door. It was an American Express card with no limit. So, but part of it was, at the end of the day, it had my name on it and I was responsible for it. It's really no different here. It's the who pays it. But I understand your point. I think it's actually, given what we just heard, I think at present it's a moot point.
Yes.
I don't think it's necessarily a moot point instead of getting mad at people over it or whatever. Not necessarily a motion within a motion, but I don't see any reason not to add that to the next meeting. If we as a whole board think that the senior staff should have a card with whatever limit, then we should probably discuss it.
I don't know if that falls within our.
I don't think that's,
Yeah.
the director said he doesn't want to feel comfortable doing that. That's under his purview as
Yeah, so
in charge
that,
of
and
operations.
that's why I said it was a moot
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's mad, it's just, I think it should be done differently, but that's how he's choosing to do it.
Yep.
There it is.
He's the one who's ultimately responsible.
And
Yeah.
with that, yes, I get the separation of day-to-day operations versus policy, but if we wanted to pass a policy saying that senior staff had a card, and instead of holding a grudge about it, I'm sure he would oblige.
If you want to add that to the next,
I think we might as well discuss it and
Let's-
see whether it's policy.
I'm not sure, I'll be honest with you, and anybody, I'm not sure it's one of those things that it's really worthwhile for a policy, because here's the thing. Let's say we have a policy that says they all get one. Let's say we end up hiring somebody, well, that person doesn't have the cleanest credit, or doesn't have the, so really, there could be reasons why having a blanket policy isn't a good idea. So you know what? It's kind of one of those, honestly, given what this one over here says, we actually do. I hope you see it this way, because this is how I see it. We have bigger fish to fry right now.
Yes.
Cool with that. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
so voucher. further questions on the voucher?
Yeah, Matt, did you investigate the usage and possible leak out at CVP to figure out why we
Yes,
had?
ma'am. I have been out there a few times. I've come to no resolve. I'm going to go ahead and give my professional opinion. It is my belief that if you would like to do a little further, a further analysis, I'm going to do some excavating out there.
Do you think somebody's left the water on, or do you think it's a leak?
I think with the amount of usage that it is, I think it's definitely a leak.
How high is it?
What's that?
How high is it?
It's high enough to indicate that it's constantly running.
It was 658 this month. How much was it last month? I don't remember what it normally is. Couple
I actually
hundred?
think it was in the 500s.
No, it was 2 something.
It wasn't
Maybe
just-
three.
I think-
So then,
I think it would be worth our while.
Yeah.
To absolutely.
Average?
we don't have to call anybody yet. If I can spend a day to go out there and just follow the water lines. I actually just did the same thing at my brother's house. It's going to be underground somewhere. What we're going to look for is a place where the grass is a little more lush, a little more spongy. That's exactly what it was at my brother's house. He called me and said, "Hey, my meter's constantly running." I said, "Well, is your grass really green somewhere?" "Actually, right in front of my water meter." "Okay, well, go step on it really quick." "Oh yeah, it's like a sponge." "Well, that's where your leak is." I went out there, dug it up. I mean, it literally took 30 minutes. Dug it up, found a jet in the line, turned the water off, cut the line, patched it, done. And then on top of that, actually, interestingly enough, I don't know if it's interesting so much as it's practical. Once the leak is found, we actually can call the water company and get a credit and apply for a credit to credit us for the excessive usage. Which
That's
is
good to know.
also what I did with it. And I actually am
Yeah.
in touch with the right people to do that pretty immediately. It is a little bit of a process. It's just a waiting period, but as long as we're able to show, because we have to document it, I would have to take pictures of it and show where I've excavated it, where I've located the leak and fixed the problem. But once it's all done, and it's as simple as calling them and saying, "Hey, this is," they'll check our differentials, and then they'll credit us based on how much water usage or how much unnecessary water usage.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would think that's a good thing for us to take care of.
It will take some time, so it would be something that I would need to allocate a day or two to just be out there.
Have to be drafted.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I add to that?
Absolutely.
So, probably 2 months ago, I got a message that there was a leak of some kind out of the both of them. So I went out there, and there was a leak. There was a hose, and it was shooting at probably 10 feet. So I turned the water off, and I contacted Brad, and I said, "Brad, there's a problem out here." He said, "It's the hose that you use that works the sprinkler is leaking. There's a hole in it." He said, "I think it's more than that. I think it's a leak at base." And I said, "Well, we need to get that fixed." He said, "Well, that'll cost money if we get a plumber in here." I said, "Go ahead and let me know how that's going to work." And he never did, apparently.
So the base of the spigot?
Yeah, where it's in the ground. So, I'm not sure why Donna Sue would ask Matt, and why Matt wouldn't tell me about it, but
Well, he's the maintenance person.
Because it's in here as CVP water, requested Matt investigate usage possible leak due to large increase. That's why I asked Matt, because you said you had asked him. So apologize for not going through you.
It's in the voucher review.
Yeah.
I actually do apologize. That's going to be on me because I thought that we had discussed that. So that's my fault.
I mean, it's been a long time. And what started out, was it $40?
Yeah, the bill was averaging 40, 45,
Yeah, it's
something
a
like that.
huge thing.
And I think like when they first started watering the ball field out in the spring, I think we had one bill that was 60 something, and then it's made these big jumps.
So it's been leaking for a little bit.
The last 2 bills
really-
really.
Well, I wouldn't expect him, he doesn't work here. I
No,
mean,
and he
you know,
goes there once a month, and what he does is out of the kindness of his heart. So, yeah. Further voucher review. So, we haven't, just point of order, we have not we'll need a new paper because we're approving the vouchers for $29,555.94. We're not approving the payroll transfer.
Correct.
Okay.
Look, somebody wants to bring a motion for that, they can.
So, all right, so all in favor of the current motion to approve vouchers 8301 through 8341 for the total of $29,555.94, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All motion passes unanimously. So we have not approved the payroll transfer from M&O to the payroll account and the L&I transfer. And there is no motion for that. And I'm going to say, from the chair's point, we asked for, in July, for a payroll account, a report, and we still haven't gotten one. Do we have one? There's no way in hell I can see that from
Page
across.
26, payroll summary.
Page 26.
And this is the second one that's been listed.
I believe we asked for something a little bit more definitive that showed hours. Am I just not seeing it correctly? Okay.
So the first column shows hours.
Okay.
The second amount, or the second column is the rate, which I think it uses an average for positions like lifeguard where we have different pay rates. And then the third column is the total for each of those.
Is this by
each of those pay codes.
Is this by monthly or?
Yes, this is August.
So it's August 1st through August 31st.
So it's the pay dates for August 1st through August 31st. So it would actually be, I think, July 15th through August 15th, because we have a 2-week delay.
Okay.
So like the August 31st pay date would have been for work performed August 1st through the 15th.
Yeah, so the problem with this, so part of what was requested was if we're being asked to approve $42,640.76, something that corresponds with that. That's what I personally would be looking for.
Yeah.
So we can see hourly where who's getting what. Because if the taxpayer comes and asks us, where does your $42,640.70 go? Because it's our largest expense for the month. How do we tell them when we know where it went? Because we have nothing. This gives me a general idea that over 3 pay periods, correct?
So you can switch the dates around though, that you'd have those numbers then? I mean,
I could modify it like.
so that it corresponds.
Yeah.
And
That's what we want.
easy.
Yes. Because otherwise, there's no way to know each month who's getting what.
I'm just thinking how to go back and adjust the dates so that it corresponds. Because these numbers in QuickBooks, this is the August payroll summary. The numbers on here for the payroll transfer amount come from the treasurer's report for the M&O account. So that's where those numbers come from. So I'm trying to think in my mind how to get the number you're actually after. I think if I do
So can you say that for me one more time?
the whole thing.
No, just that last part. So the numbers for the M&O payroll account come from the county?
So we do a payroll transfer through the county, and those numbers match what is on the treasurer's report, because that's what we requested them to transfer.
Okay.
Right,
And
but
then this is the payroll summary that QuickBooks generates.
that number that we told them came from somewhere with
So
some
that-
detail.
So that comes from the payroll report that generates when you run the payroll.
Then that's what we want.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
because the numbers here don't match the number here.
So that's a payroll report and the liability report. So I can just put copies of those in and redact out staff names, but it's not going to give you by department. which I thought that Commissioner Singleton had requested by department.
Right, but
So
but also,
do you want this? If I can figure out how to modify the
well,
dates to
what
match
format
up
is that payroll report in?
this payroll report?
No. What, the one that you're talking about that has names on it, what is that?
Yeah.
What format is that?
It's a QuickBooks report that generates a PDF.
Okay, but so it could, well, but it could also be downloaded to Excel, and it could be manipulated with this
I'm
information.
just thinking in my mind how it populates, I'm sorry for the funny look. I was just thinking like when I click report, like when I click submit, the way that it pops up. And I don't know if it gives me the option to put it into Excel, but I can definitely.
Most everything is downloadable to Excel, so, I mean,
I think it probably does, it just automatically pops up as a PDF that prints.
and so basically, you would either just need a simple macro or a little bit of manipulation. Because again, we're not looking, I don't need to know what that person versus that person, their hours, that's not what we're looking at. But we're trying to understand, really this is so month to month, understanding what the differences are. Oh, we had a lot more of this than this. Does that correspond with what we know has been happening? Or is there something else that we need to be aware of, or, so it kind of paints a whole picture.
There's no way to trend or look at data for payroll, which is our largest district expense every year. So the one thing we are responsible, the one thing we're responsible for, right? But there's no way you can trend it in monthly to month to figure out, well, do we have more guards in the summer because we have more open swim than we do in the winter? What is actually driving it? And so it would be, and when the payroll summary here doesn't match the one on the voucher review,
And I totally see what you're saying.
Okay.
Are these typos? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 people getting $27 an hour.
That actually was my question. I was curious what
Did you know you were getting paid that much?
these.
I don't know why it's showing how much those are overtime amounts for those positions, so time and a half. But all of their hours were not paid at that.
What is the normal?
18.
It is 18,
Right.
okay. I was just about freaking.
And are we paying a little
Yeah,
overtime?
that's weird. I'm sorry.
Are we paying overtime?
For people, hourly employees that work over 40 hours, yes.
I got that. Good. I'm glad we're following the law. My question was, are we paying overtime right now?
Happened.
I actually have been working a substantial amount of overtime.
Okay, so that would
That
be good
is-
to know.
Yeah, that is related to, I think the last meeting had approved an assistant for myself. I've just been having a difficult time finding an appropriate candidate. So everything that my assistant would do, I've been covering as well.
In a regular 4-week period, what would be a normal amount of hours for you, not overtime? Because 190 is here, so it would be 160. Generally speaking, for 20 hours. Is that right? No, wait. 40 hours. Okay. So, yeah.
So what have we done to rectify that?
Short of the board changing the pay scale, I don't know. I've had a labor position for the government opened at $23 an hour for 2 years. I can't find anybody.
Yeah, there has been, I believe there's been a posting put on into WorkSource. I believe there's been one on Craigslist. I have personally spread it word of mouth. I put one on my Facebook page. I believe there's been one put on the district Facebook page. It's just, I've had candidates. It's just a matter of finding someone that I deem appropriate.
Okay.
If you come in to apply without a shirt on, that actually happened. I'm not going to waste my time.
Oh,
I'm not going to tell. Oh, yeah.
No, totally understand. It's just, I was,
Sharpie marker.
It was nice of you to leave out the picnic table.
Yeah, exactly. When you're fornicating on the picnic table and then come to apply for a job. That also happened. Well, kind of.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Applied for the job first.
Apply for a job and then fornication on the picnic.
So to add then to the specs, I think we want to understand overtime hours as well.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that isn't on the list that I provided.
And then that's,
Commissioner Singleton, I actually have not seen the list. That
Oh, okay.
through my email, so if you would forward that to me, please.
Sure. I will do
That
that.
will help me get you guys what you're after.
awesome, thank you.
that's actually part of the reason why I also.
Yeah, I sent it like the next day.
Yeah, I didn't see it in my email.
Yeah, I wouldn't, I don't believe I sent it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will do so.
Thank you.
That's also part of the reason why I try to be as detailed and as transparent as possible with my maintenance reports, so that, you know, obviously every little thing's not gonna go on there. Otherwise, you know, this entire packet would be my maintenance report. But I try to at least include the, you know, the major renovations that I've done, the major projects that I've worked on, so that we can justify the amount that I need to pay.
Thank you for clarifying, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just a couple of things real quick. So at the last meeting, we, at least in my mind at the last meeting, we did accept this format of a payroll summary. I know the dates are a little different, so this one is 38,000 roughly. This one's 42,000 for a different date. So I think now it's pretty clear to staff what we want, and I feel comfortable that 38,000 versus 42 on a different set of dates is close enough to where I would move that we approve of the payroll transfer.
So we have a motion to approve the payroll transfer to M&O of $42,640.76 and the L&I transfer of $4,226.60.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
What's the L&I transfer? I remember we usually just have one transfer for payroll.
So L&I gets paid quarterly, separate
Oh,
from-
so we should, once a
Yes.
quarter, we should, okay.
Yes,
I
and
just
this is actually quarter one and quarter two together.
don't- Okay.
Can you tell me, just to educate myself, who this director of client services is that makes $27 an hour? Who is that?
Oh, that's
Is
the
that a
other,
person?
that's,
That she makes $18.
yeah, it's 18,
That's the 27 is overtime.
yeah.
I know, but who is that person? Oh, it's you.
So I
I thought you
because,
were the finance and admin
so
person.
because the two positions are still separated in the budget, I split my hours between the two for accounting purposes.
Okay, I thought this was a person, another person that I.
An imaginary person.
Okay.
Solid question. Further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All against, signify by saying nay.
Nay.
It is, motion's passed 4-1. Commissioner Shingleton voted nay. Commissioner Martin, Holly, Hoffmeyer, and Merrill voted aye. Please sign. Yes. Clover Valley Committee. Do we want to go over to the committee reports tonight, or should we move on? Do we have anything from the committee?
Julie, could you do the thing on the Clover Valley?
Well, Brad is currently working on some stuff in the house, and contractor, and he just said, you know, he would appreciate some follow-up at some point. This has gone on forever. There's never any answers about the lease, the proposals. Is there a signed lease?
For
The ballpark.
That's correct. Have we heard back from the insurance company? Correct.
What I've figured out is, and my recommendation to the board, is that the board should decide what it is they want in terms of, do they want to sell the land should the district dissolve? Whatever it is they decide, then at that point, we can contact someone and see if it's legal. To go to them, as I have, and just this nebulous idea of like, well, you know, what are we going to do with transfer, and what about first right of refusal? That's not how they work. So the board needs to decide what they want to do and have a unanimous, or at least an agreement by a majority of what it is. Then I can take that to somebody and see if it works.
I believe Brad provided us with a sample of what he was looking for.
So did we reject it or not?
We asked you to take the sample to the insurance company and see if we could actually do it.
Well, is
I kind of agree with the director that why don't we make sure the board actually would support such a thing before we ask any insurance company or lawyer to say, oh yeah, this is a good idea. Why don't we make sure there's support of the board to do something like
I
that?
agree.
Okay. So,
Can we, since this is a committee report section, can we put that on the next meeting agenda? Well,
Down here further.
okay, so everyone has it and everyone's ready to vote right now, even though it's been twisting in the wind for 8 months, at least. I mean, I feel like that's not a reasonable expectation. I'm not trying to
so
delay
I will
things,
ask Brad to come next month and tell him that we are going to discuss and make a vote on the Clover Valley proposal.
If you do that, could we maybe all get a copy of
Yes.
what he gave us before ahead of time?
Yeah, mine's buried somewhere.
Yes.
So who's taking the action item to do that?
I will call Brad.
And ask him to send it?
He will send it again. I think I may even have it in my folder.
Okay,
yes,
but-
we'll
okay,
get
but
it
so
out
you're
to
taking-
we will get that out to
You will
everybody.
take you are
Yes.
taking the ownership. All right, just making sure.
The only other thing I know out of Clover Valley is the concrete slab for the gazebo has been poured. And Chris is in Florida. Chris is in Florida.
Okay.
That's all I'm aware about there.
All right. Nothing from the other two, so we'll move into employee handbook review part 2. So one of the things we talked about for the employee handbook is, because this was kicking in the wind, I'm going to ask you two to take the final, work it, and have something for us before next month's meeting so it can be reviewed and voted on, finalized next month.
So a week before, we will have it to you a week before
Yeah.
next month's meeting. So part of that discussion was, since we're the two most opinionated ones on this matter, we may as well, it's the truth. I mean, like, let's be honest about this. Since we're the two most opinionated ones, if we can agree on it, we'll send it to everybody, but you still have an opportunity to review it, make changes, but just be prepared for that. So a week before the meeting, you'll get a draft. Please review it.
It won't be a big mess. It'll be like, the changes are in red.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so let me write that down, since I just committed to that.
All right.
And obviously, this is only the sections that were still under,
Review.
yes, the rest of it, so we're not gonna send you the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Interim director review, we had a process that we did in the past. We need to do an interim director review. I'd be happy to, anybody will work with me on that one, so we're not beating the bush on this.
I will work with you on that.
All right.
And I'll send you what we did the last time.
Excellent.
Which I can't remember if you were on the board then, but
No, I wasn't.
But I guess, why do we feel the need to do something so exhaustive? And I use that word very intentionally.
We're hiring a new director, he's gonna say,
Right, and I'm not saying, so my suggestion previously was that we, and of course, I'm pulling from my own experience, so I'm just gonna phrase it in those terms, but instead that we sit down and have a two-way dialogue about, because it's probably a good time for the board to hear things that we could do differently as
Yes.
well, right? It's a great opportunity, so, but it's also in the format, so here's the idea, is the format would be, and we can choose different words for it, but start, stop, continue. So in other words, it'd be great to start doing these things. So it's easy for us to organize the ideas.
Yes.
Start doing this, a little less of this. I realize and then continue doing this. And those are in the wrong order that they should be valued. But it would just be a lot easier for us. One of the things that we have been, that has gotten us bogged down in this process before was the paperwork and the structure and and so I think that if we want to actually pull off a successful process execution, the easier we keep it, but still meaningful, the better. So if someone has a different idea, even along the same lines, or call it something else, I don't care. I just think that simplicity really lends itself to us spending our time on the things that are valuable.
So if we did a start, continue, stop. Rex, comments about that? It's your review.
I think that's a very good decision.
Okay.
I mean, not decision, but suggestion.
And the two-way thing as well. I mean, I think there's
And then we
value in
can-
that.
And that way, that's a simple fix. We can put that together, send it out, and actually do it next month. That way, you're not hanging in the wind.
Review the same as the direct review.
No, because we've never had an interim director before.
We had Erica.
But she
Oh.
was a permanent employee.
Okay. So we're kind of outside the normal bylaws, which is why we're looking at a different way. Are you comfortable with start, continue, stop?
Sure.
We'll put that, you know what, that's an easy do tomorrow or the next day. We can send that out to everybody, to include you. And we can all put our comments together and we'll put that on the agenda for next month and we're done. Excellent.
Do you need anything from me or are you going to do it?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Budget review.
I thought we were doing hiring new director as number 3, the new hire, number 3.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hiring new director. All right. I did some research this last month. One of the things I looked at was, and I did not look at the monster stuff or whatever it is, the headhunters. But what I did look at is the National Recreation and Park Association. And what they actually do is they do the same type of thing as headhunters. And this way, it's, you send them the PD, you send them the posting, and they make sure it matches, and then they throw it out on their site. And 30 days online with a full resume search. And these are for non-member prices because we are not a member of this organization. It's the National Recreation and Park Association.
$30 days online.
30 days online. It's $299.
And did they do vetting of any of the things, or we just get a whole bunch?
We get the resumes and we would have to vet. So it is not like where they actually do the process like, I'm trying to remember the name of the company that actually does the whole process from start to finish, where they review resumes and check references and do everything, and then they just bring you in for
For $300, it's reasonable, and it's the right crowd, hopefully, of people.
And that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
Right.
Is the exposure to that.
So it's like I said, it's not the big monster folks that go out nationwide, but this is relevant to what we do.
Yes.
And when you look at it, this is other parks districts, large park districts to small park districts. When you look at what they send for examples, it's folks much smaller than we are, to folks like Seattle and, I mean, huge folks. So I don't know if this is something we want to use or not. I would suggest that this is a lot better than what we've done in the past that I remember, which is using local resources. And that's kind of a bygone thing.
Yeah.
So unless somebody's got something else.
No, I think this is a good place. And then, isn't there a? Do we want to do it on a pool-centric site as well, like pool manager? Because Park and Rec isn't always pools.
True.
So just a question to get us some people with pool experience, because we know 80-90% of this district is that body of water.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it'll change in the
Are you gonna do
future.
some local?
Sorry?
Some locals still too.
Absolutely, but I'm not sure what we should be modern and stepping forward and use social media to do this, and we need to find out what that is. I don't know. I was in the Navy.
That's,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But as well, I mean, even things like Indeed, I mean, there are lots of really general ones, you know, so you've got ones that are specific to really technical things or whatever, but, you know, there are a lot of online things that would, so it's like, I think local, and then I think online, general, and then specific. I mean, I think all those are good things, and again, for whatever reason, the requirement went away, but we spent hundreds, if not thousands, advertising in the Seattle Times.
Really?
Because
It was in the bylaws.
it was at the time it was in the bylaws, and I
And
thought
now
it was
it's
on there.
not.
But it was this ludicrous, like we allow. I mean, to be really honest, we allowed ourselves to be confined by the rules instead of changing the
What's
rules.
the timeline on that?
Well, that's what I think we're going to talk about next.
Yes.
Right? I think we're looking at how, and then we're going to talk about when. Right?
Yes. So this is what I found. You mentioned Indeed. What's Indeed? I have no news.
All kind of stuff, like all kinds of jobs. So Indeed.com.
Okay. How much?
I have no idea.
That was the information I gave you last meeting. And you asked me to provide you with a comparison based on population and so on.
We're actually talking in this case about the listing.
And that's on page 86 in your packet.
This is the salaries.
Well, that's what, she's talking about how to advertise.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. We're not talking about
Yeah.
We're not talking about comparables. We're talking about how we're going to list it, how we're going to fly it, and how we're going to run it. So
It starts at $0.00.
really,
So I mean, the opening price is good.
yes. But what do we get for a? It's always relative. What you get what you pay for. Unfortunately.
Pricing is between 10 cents and $5 per click if you boost your post. Yada yada. So.
It's kind of what?
It's like online dating.
It's the same guy that applied for the maintenance job out on the table.
So.
That's what you get.
So in reality, it depends on how much viewing we want it to get. So I'd liken it to a Facebook ad, where I imagine you can probably you can target who's going to get it popped up on their stuff based on their profile a little bit. So I mean, I think we should probably say here's what we think the budget is or whatever. But I think it's worthwhile because it's a really common job search mechanism these days. A lot of places will advertise, like let's say on their own corporate site, which we obviously would want to do that on our site as well.
Yes.
But then link it to, link the Indeed listing to that location.
What
So-
about LinkedIn?
I don't know that we have a presence there, so that might be more than it's worth at this point in time. It's a great future thing, but I think the background work to get it
So if we
running might be a little
did the
bit.
Facebook and did it on our site with links to Indeed.com. Send it to the chamber for the local. Kind of use the Indeed with the 2 site links as a state, and then use the NRPA for the national.
I think you also put it on, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I think you put it on Craigslist, in relation to Seattle. Why not? Why not?
You US
I
government
mean,
jobs
it's
because
free.
it's-
No, you
it's
may not.
non-government.
No, you may not.
Yeah, it's-
That goes through USA staffing.
While I realize that, I think, you could probably tell us whether you think it's worthwhile or not, meaning given what you see.
For Craigslist?
Yeah.
I think it would make sense to do it to the greater Seattle area.
Okay.
And it's not free anymore, it's $15 for a
Oh,
job
is it?
listing. But
Okay.
it stays at 30
That's it?
days for $15, so,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, they started charging maybe.
So $30 for 50 days. And then, obviously, our site and the chamber, because we're members, the chamber should do it for free, right?
So,
Okay. Indeed.com, you said 10 cents per click.
Well, it
I
depends
have
on
no-
how I would just set a budget or, you know, what do we think is a reasonable amount? Sorry, I'm
Good
just trying to
question.
think about
No,
this.
That's what we need to get down to, is the nuts and bolts. So if we're looking at $299 or $300 for this, $30 for that, so $400 for a search? Or do we want to go a little bit?
I mean, this is where it's like really, it's a little tough of, how about this? Let's draw a line at like 250, and, I mean, is that fair?
What's your
We
total?
can't even do that, the one park and rec place for 250, can we?
Well, 299,
Right.
the park.
Oh, you meant total.
Yeah.
I meant for this.
For,
I would say, why don't we make it the same? At 300 for Indeed, the same as it is for the National Park and Rec?
Well, the only thing about that is if we then do a pool one as well,
Oh,
right? So I was trying to, so let's say two. How about this? I will take the action item to look at what that can get us, like based on, you know, just to kind of fetter it out. I mean, I don't have a job description and I'm not posting it, so, but I can certainly look at pricing for that.
And why don't we come up with, we don't want to spend over $1,000?
Oh, good, yes.
I mean, set
The total budget.
yes,
set a total budget.
that's why I was throwing 600 out there, because I was like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Oh, no, 600. It sounds like you can get a lot of advertising for $600.
600 total. We'll look at that, 600, staying around 600 total.
Are our Facebook ads sponsored? That we pay for, so they reach more people?
Sometimes.
No, but we could probably use the boost thing for that. Okay, so now we have where we want to put it. Let's talk about a PD, position description, and a posting. The PD writes itself since it's already done.
Is it? I'm not trying to be stupid. Is it? Okay.
well, we were going to make changes. But it has to be.
That's good. That gives us, no,
Not really significant changes, but we wanted to make changes.
Yep.
And so that needs to be on the agenda next time.
Next month.
For changes to bylaws, because you have to change the bylaws before they can become changes to the, and so those will be sent out as potential bylaw changes to everybody, but they're with the handbook stuff, so, because it's. if
bylaw
we change-
changes for directors PD.
Where did you find the bylaws?
Well,
Is that gonna put us way too behind?
yeah.
Do you want to just go with the
Yeah.
existing
Yep.
PD?
Yep.
We'll change the bylaws, I still say we should change the bylaws next month, but let's just use the existing PD, because the changes are not that significant.
Well, we can only, to be clear, sorry, and I know we're jumping ahead of ourselves.
Nope.
But we can only change the bylaws if those specific changes are proposed tonight.
Right.
Oh,
Or at some meeting prior to the next regular meeting.
So even if we brought the changes up next month, we wouldn't be able to vote on them until November.
Correct.
okay.
Just so that we understand.
No, I'd
that's-
forgotten that part.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you
So,
must,
we're going to use the PD that's currently in
Yes.
place.
Yes.
All right. A posting. If I work on that, can I get somebody to review it?
sure.
Thank you. I really can't review my own stuff. It's not good. All right. And then we'll have that. PD, since the PD is the same, the posting we'll send out. And what is the timeline to get this out? Let's get it out there by. So, if we run it from Commissioner Shingleton, if you and I do this and have it reviewed and ready to go prior to the 11th, so we can make sure we've got Indeed, the Chamber, Facebook, and Craigslist all set up, we can have it posted from October 14th to November 15th. It's a month, right?
Think that's long enough?
We'll find out. That's part of the, we'll find out, right?
Right, and we'll do resume review, a special meeting for resume review. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 28th is Thanksgiving. Is anybody going to be gone the week of November 18th through the 22nd?
No, but we have a meeting on the 21st.
Yeah, this is.
That's what we do. We do have a regular meeting on the 21st because Thanksgiving's on the 28th. Thank you. So we'll do resume review on the 21st, which means interviews will be the first week in December.
You're doing
resumes with
question,
me?
sorry, but question. So here's the problem is, and we may want to have a separate session for that, because at that same November 21st meeting, more than likely, we're going to be
Doing the budget.
Correct.
So we'll do resume review. Is everybody okay with a special meeting on the 19th?
Yes.
November 19th. Do you know? You good?
Okay, so that's
Okay. Wendy? Yep.
Yes, sorry.
So resume review on the 19th, and then interviews the first week in December.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
so can I then assume that you and I will also talk about the interview process and then propose something to the board about that?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to go. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Yep. All right. So now on to budget review. When do we think we're going to have the budget for next year ready?
When do you want it to be done?
Tomorrow. I'd like to review it before the October meeting so that we can have questions in October, so they can be, so any changes can be made prior to November.
Okay.
And I actually wouldn't mind a special meeting if we had to in October sometime to review the budget before our regular scheduled meeting, so that by the end of the month, we're actually voting on the budget prior to November.
Never gonna happen. No, that has nothing to do with you. If we intend to do an operational plan, which we absolutely need to do, it's gonna take some time.
Yep.
So to expect that to be put to bed in the next 4 weeks is pretty ambitious, considering, let's be honest, it's something that we've never done before.
Yep.
So I'm only kind of, I'm saying it just to try to set a realistic expectation.
So
'Cause-
is it realistic to say we'll have an operational plan proposal with a budget proposal, loose budget proposal by the October regular scheduled meeting?
I would ask him that, but I hope so,
Yeah.
right? Because then we
Rex?
have time to.
Okay. So we'll have the operational plan proposal and a budget proposal by the regular scheduled meeting. That way, we have something to move forward with. And we're not scrambling. Okay. Number 5, we have no district bylaws to review tonight because we didn't have them in the packet. Clover Valley proposal review, I forgot to change those around. Shane stuck it out for that, thank you. And then contract considerations.
And I saw that, are we talking about the contract
Yes,
considerations? Yes, okay. I saw the thing about the Island County Drug Court, and it's like, and I know we've had a special deal with them. I would kind of think they should pay what the military pays at least. Oh, sorry, it's page 71. But I don't know. I just think we're trying to be fair, we're trying to make people, pay the same amount. And I don't know how often this gets used. How often do these people, I don't mean that pejoratively at all, but how often does this get used? Julie, do you know?
We paid, I think it was around $98, that's the total.
Oh, not the number of people that,
And that's for
I don't know.
7
Yeah,
months,
it's very
98.
sporadic.
Yeah.
so it's not very much, but I'm still kind of thinking,
We don't have
The
it.
majority of us, my packet only went up to page 70, so I don't have the contracts to review to look at.
all right, let's do that
So-
next, let's do that next time then, and that way we'll have time to read through them.
Yeah, so I haven't.
Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Well, are any of these due out for signature this month?
It's okay if we don't. I mean, it's,
Well, if we've got people waiting on contracts, we need to review.
they're not waiting, it's in progress. So
Okay.
it's part of I have a meeting with NWAC on Thursday to go over what their thoughts are about it.
Do you want to give us a quick rundown of what you've heard so far from each one, or?
Yeah, well, I can do
okay.
that. We've worked at a price with high school. We've worked at a price with the high school based on, lane use, what they can afford. We were looking at, we were $6,000 over what they figured they could afford, so they've cut
The school
back.
district?
Yeah. So we're looking at 11 instead of 17.
Okay.
NWAC, I think.
That's both seasons.
What?
That's 2 seasons.
Both seasons, yeah.
For the boys and the girls. So it covers both seasons, so they'll both be able to swim.
Right,
Okay?
yeah. The NWAC was looking at, well, actually, I haven't had much feedback. All I have is hearsay from what they, in my way of looking at it, the last year, everything was very vague. We made it very specific. So I haven't heard specifically from their representation of that. That's Thursday's,
But that was going to be the same price the high school's paying. Okay.
And so we're going to keep that now, since the high school's paying 6,000 less. That means NWAC will pay less, correct?
What is that at lane now?
It's the same amount per lane hour.
Okay.
High school reduced their number of lane hours.
yeah,
There we go. Okay. So high school's lane usage went down.
yeah.
They're still paying the same amount, they're just using the lanes less.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
And are they still having the same number of meets here, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
And-
they have their meets during their practice.
Same practice, same hours.
Same hours.
And we charge them the same for a meet as we do for practice lane hours?
Yeah,
And so we're doing the same thing then for NWAC, charging them the same for meets as we do.
no, the difference is that with NWAC, we have to cancel programs. So like if they're having a meet this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, set up on Friday, Saturday, Sundays,
Right.
we have to cancel everything that's happening.
Similar to what Fidalgo Pool does with TAC. Okay. And we set that price based on,
Based on what it costs us.
The opportunity cost as well, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying? Or-
yeah.
Okay. All right. I know the timing system has come up. And that pretty much, I don't know how the rest of the board feels about this. Because I've had discussions and, a three-way split or a two-way, we can't ask both programs to pay for it. Or we could. Or we could take a certain amount for the pool also and keep it here. We could use a new clock with that and everything else. Has that been put into the contracts at all, or how are we looking at that?
Well, it was pretty emphatic at the last time we
Yeah.
talked about it. It was unanimous that, this is the way it is.
And how did they respond?
That's what I don't know yet.
Okay. All right.
Since we're talking about that, what is the cost of,
Isn't it 25 grand?
Yeah, it's,
I mean, it
the
was a
Colorado
big
timing,
ticket
Colorado timing systems are expensive. They can go anywhere from 20,000 on up to six figures. And it all depends on the clock you get and the numbers you get. And the touchpads are the big thing, because you have touchpads that go on the lanes,
Right.
the cables, the computer. There's two separate computers that have to be used. So there's one that's used at the end with the touchpads, and that relays information to a timing computer where everything's kept for Meet Mobile. So there's a actual system that the computer interfaces with to officially record times. And that's where the cost varies. Software compatibility, does it even work with our computer system? Who provides you can go down wormholes there. Who provides a laptop for them to use? I know the school district has their own laptop that they've used in the past. So I don't know if the school district's going to talk to Blue Heron and work that out.
But the part of the point, so I think you weren't here when we had that last discussion, is it was part of the contract that we had to maintain that system, and we emphatically, that's part of what Rex is talking about.
Right.
Is we emphatically as a board said, well, no, we can't agree to that.
right, and
Okay.
I was here for
Okay,
that.
sorry, okay.
But I just, since you kind of said something about three-way split, I was just wondering, a three-way split of $2,000.
Somebody had asked me about it when I was
or
swimming laps, and I
three-way-
said, I'm one guy, you gotta bring it up. And there's nobody here, and that was my suggestion to them. If you really want to make that proposal,
Oh,
you need to come to a board meeting and make it to the board. You don't need to make it to me when I'm trying to swim laps and I'm
no,
hypoxic halfway through.
right.
So,
Matt, I was going to say, Matt may have some information.
Yeah,
He's already
actually,
about.
can I ask, is there, and I do apologize if it's been covered already, but is there a reason why we're in discussion of replacing the timing system?
we're not talking about replacing it, we're talking about upkeep. It's been in the past contracts that the district would provide the timing system,
Sure.
right? And we said, hold on.
Right.
We're not going to do that. So last meeting, the five of us said, yeah, we weren't going to do that.
Okay. In regards to upkeep, I actually have just recently been collaborating with Ty, who is, he's actually an electrician. I was not aware of that. But we have been collaborating together to make some repairs to the existing system, just to kind of get it up to date and have it working a little better for everybody. Just little things, but I think things that overall will be better to the longevity of it.
Cool. That's awesome.
So is the system our responsibility then?
As far as I knew,
That exists?
It
Well, we-
was in prior contracts, but
Well,
there's...
we own it. We
Yes.
own the system that's currently there.
We own the current.
That is, so if we're talking about factual information, we own what's there.
Right. But we did not want it written into the contract that we would maintain it.
Or that we're required for it to work.
Right. So,
and it does work, and it's
Good.
In its current state, it is functional. There are a few little things that, just really simple maintenance, like all the prongs on the flux for the touchpads, they're all rusted out. I just got, I believe you sent it, a link to a website that sells the prongs themselves. Ty has agreed to change those out as long as I get them in and get them ready for him. We did some work to the box over here that goes.
Does the I'm sorry to interrupt you, Matt.
No, that's quite okay.
No, go ahead.
We actually just did some work to the box over here that runs from, it controls the auxiliary from the actual computer to the scoreboard itself. I know there was a short in that. Ty and I just restarted that and got that up to date. I'm sorry if any of this is irrelevant.
It's all relevant. It begs the question, what did the girls' high school use?
It still works, it's just not working
I
as
believe
well.
they use the same system.
Hand timers?
What's that?
Hand timers?
Yeah, well, they have to use timers. So you can use one or the other. I know USA Swimming says one or the other. You gotta have 3 timers per lane if you don't have a system. But
They didn't use the touchpads, did they?
No, I believe they did. The girls' high school swim team,
they use the touchpads?
if I'm not mistaken, they use the touchpads.
Okay. So how much are we spending on it this month?
On the touchpads?
Yes, sir.
Well, we haven't spent anything yet.
Okay.
No, it's all, that was my thing. Everything now is in working order. There are just a few things that can be done to add to the longevity of them.
Okay.
You know, there were a few minor issues like the short in the auxiliary box, and out of 8 touchpads, I think 2 of them have cords with prongs that don't work, or 2 of them. One of them is actually missing the head itself, and then one of them just has a short in it that it doesn't function properly. But we have enough functioning touchpads to go across each lane.
So we have enough currently across each lane?
Yeah.
Okay,
The
so,
plastic boards that hold them in place, the Velcro needs to be replaced on them, but I believe Ty actually picked up some rolls of Velcro to redo
Okay.
those.
so, yeah, before we rush out to spend district money on it, let's wait until we get a contract and see.
Oh, no, yeah, they've been sitting a while, so they need to be cleaned
Yeah,
up.
no, and I appreciate you helping out with this.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the, Donna Sue, I'm sorry to,
Oh, no,
go ahead.
that's quite all right.
I was gonna say, Donna Sue mentioned the court.
Yeah, there's, it's a program that works with people that have been in treatment, so they are given
We've had
vouchers.
done it before,
Okay.
but I think they should pay the same price the military pays.
Island County Juvenile and Family Court Services.
It's basically a discount of punches, right?
So military pays $4.25 for AM lap swim, and they pay full after-door daily admission price for everyone else.
But they get it at the,
They do not get a discount.
they get the rate that it's a local taxpayer rate.
Yes.
And as if they bought a 10 punch pass, that's the,
Only for AM lap swim.
oh, okay.
So, I'll share this because it's weird how things work. I just, one of the triathlon things I do, they talk to this judge from LA who actually does a running club. And how it's brought in felons do this running club, and he takes them, he's raised money through a nonprofit to do this, and how it helps people in that program. This is obviously part of that, but this is coming from the court, correct? And they're asking us to enter into a contract with them for a reduced rate. Because Island County is paying for this, correct?
I don't know, do they, is that-
Yes.
So it'd be tax money and tax money going to be spent on people who are trying to, because this is not something that, and so as we review this, remember the perpetrator, that's what you call them, I guess, that's in court, they have to decide if they want to go to adult drug court. It's a choice between adult drug court and regular court where they get a sentence, correct?
I don't know that.
Well, can we, if the goal here is for us to read this,
Yeah, well, hey, we're gonna need
to
it.
review it, right, well, yes, but maybe let us all read it and kind of
Yeah, and is there somebody from Island County that can talk to us
process it
about
on
it?
our own.
Sure.
Because that would be, I think that would be more helpful to answer questions like that. Because, it sounds like you've got questions too. So maybe a time where we can meet with the representative from Island County and hear what the program's about before we're asked to vote.
Next meeting.
If you think that's appropriate, that'll work. If it's a special meeting, let us all know so we can also let prospective commissioners know. So
Well,
that they can
either that or we could just send our questions, but we need a copy of it
Yeah.
first.
Can we send it out?
Because I don't really, here's what I would not want to do, is to put that person on the spot in a public forum to make them feel like they're just trying to do their job. I mean,
Yeah.
and so in this respect, oh, hey, look, there's angry people about this thing, or, yeah, and I'm not saying that's the way it would go, but that's the worst case scenario, right? I mean, if we can get a copy of it, and then, okay, thank you. Okay, check, copy, check. But
I do. Thank you very much.
but if we could pick a date, if we had questions, if we could funnel them, is that appropriate? Funnel them to you, Rex?
Yes.
So that you can then get us responses and,
Okay.
I mean, is that fair? I just feel like that would be the respectful
Yeah.
way to do it, because I think we all want to be, we're looking for information to understand it.
Yeah.
But I realize that sometimes things take a turn and we don't want it to be anything other than that.
That's correct.
Okay.
So, just so I understand, so the questions come to me, I contact the person and I answer.
Yep.
When do we need to get questions to the director by?
That in and of itself is an excellent question that requires an answer. I don't know.
When are you meeting with? 2 pages.
Yeah.
Not even a page, actually.
So where are we at? So can we do this by, let's see, this is Monday, can we do this by next Monday, October 7th?
Oh, yes.
So
Okay,
get
is
questions
that okay?
by-
Is a week okay? Okay.
So questions to me by the 7th.
Yeah, and that won't negatively impact the timeline of yours related to this. Okay. Okay.
Subsidy.
So this is for all ages of people, I mean, say,
I don't know.
Which 17th?
Yeah, it's anybody who's in a drug.
It says adult, it says
Adults.
adult drug court. So,
Well, it says juvenile and family court services.
And it allows them, it would allow a participant to bring
Do you
their
know,
children and have it
Elizabeth?
included.
Well, it does say juveniles too, so I assume that a kid 17 years old that gets busted smoking weed could go to drug court instead and say, I prefer to swim and do jail time.
Well, that's just a short synopsis of what it looks like, and that's exactly what it is an opportunity for a potential perpetrator to go through this intensive program, and by the end of it, as long as everything was successful, to have the charge dismissed.
oh,
All right, so we're going to,
It's here on,
yeah, it's right there. Well,
yeah, here on the
okay,
side
yeah.
here.
I'm gonna say this. Let's keep on task, guys.
Yep.
Please, let's keep on task.
All right, so contract, what are the contracts we need to do?
So questions on, so I'm just going to reiterate, questions to Rex by next Monday, 10/7. If you have them, if you don't have them, or if you don't do it, you don't get the questions.
We have the swimming the Oak Harbor High School one, Blue Heron Booster Club one. Those are the 3 contracts that we were.
Does Oak Harbor High School one need to be signed now, or do we need to, I mean, is that something
Well,
that's
look it
going?
over. Look it over first and then,
Okay, can I have a copy of that, please?
sure.
When does Dr. Gibbons, or John wants this back, because I'm sure it's going to AD, correct?
Is it
Jared.
Jerry. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, can we
It was Jay.
get copies? Yeah, I don't think anybody, but somehow Donna Sue got the magic thing.
Oh, because I got my-
I did get it in by email.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
This is better,
So is everybody
since I haven't
Yep.
gotten out of the 19th century yet.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, and so if we have questions about this one, should we ask, like, how are we, sorry.
You want these soon, don't you? Because it's going to Dr. Gibbon, you, and Jared.
Yeah.
So if we have questions for you, when should we send them to you by?
You want to do the same?
Is that work? Is that okay? Okay. All right,
For
so
all contracts by next Monday? Okay.
we only have the two, right?
Well, it's,
Right, well, we just, oh, okay, we discussed that last time, I thought. I didn't know.
Contracts.
yeah, we did.
Okay, yeah, so the action with that, I'm just trying to be clear here, the action with that was that one person was going to review it.
I haven't seen, has anybody seen it?
No.
I
Yes, winner!
I just
Winner,
now
winner,
got
chicken
it, but
dinner.
it's like, I don't remember that being discussed,
So
that one
let's-
person was gonna review.
Yeah, that's what we agreed to, was that one person would spot check it, if you will, for the stuff that we had talked about. That was our agreement whenever that was, sorry.
I will review it thoughtfully, and I'll get to the director if there's any issues.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that we don't continue to, one, spin
Kick the
our own.
can.
Well, yes, and waste anyone else's time with
Yep.
this.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
we had a process, you're now the winner of that process, congratulations to you.
thanks.
All right, no other contracts besides those three, correct, Rex?
Right.
Okay. New bid,
Can I,
go ahead.
MWR, will we sign a new contract with them? or-
Not yet.
Okay.
I actually just received it in my email sitting here.
Oh.
But I can't open it because my phone doesn't support the file type.
Who are you working that contract with?
Michelle Estabrook is who sent it.
They have a new MWR director, that's why I was asking.
Moving along,
New business. No new business?
congratulations, we are done with new business.
Staff reports.
So if you all refer to page 28, again, basic broad strokes here. On the additional line into the back from the chlorinator feed line into the kiddie pool directly. Long story short, chlorine is heavier than water. Chlorine sticks to the bottom of the big pool. The kiddie pool gets fed off the gutter system, which only takes the water off the top 6 inches of the pool, give or take 6 to 8 inches, are just water. So we were having to shock the kiddie pool almost every day. It was a substantial use of chemicals. It's what we got to do. We had to take a breakpoint chlorination every day. I won't worry with details. We don't have to do that anymore. Now it takes the water directly from the chlorinator and feeds it into the kiddie pool along with the gutter system. So now it's getting a steady supply of chlorine from the chlorinator. So we've cut back on the use of the granulated chlorine pretty substantially.
Okay,
So that's
awesome.
one there. In regards to the network, I ran Cat5 cable from my office up along the catwalk, which is another thing I'll get to. The walkboards for the catwalk. No one should be up there at all. It is incredibly dangerous. When I was up there, I made it very, very quick, but the first few steps I took, the boards were cracking under my feet. It was terrifying. It was a very unpleasant experience. I will have to go up there again at some point.
Okay. If you could say, what's the OSHA requirements for for the catwalk and for fall protection while you're on there.
I actually do need to look into that, because I believe.
Let's make sure,
I believe the next time
please,
I
we
go
meet
there-
OSHA requirements for fall protection before anybody's on the catwalk, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Cat 5 cable.
Cat 5 cable, ran that from my office up here to, so we had a problem with connectivity before, that's no longer an issue. That actually was what was hindering the HVAC system being online. That is also now back online. The cable that I ran will bring us up to a speed that enables the entire building to run off of the Wi-Fi as opposed to just the front of the building. Before the signal was not strong enough to reach, which is another tied into that. There's now the same network housing cabinet that's in the fishbowl is now in my office as well. I installed one of those back there. That runs the HVAC system and everything back there. The software for the HVAC has been updated. HVAC is back online, which is another thing that will control. It helps control the temperature of the pool out here. Keeps the bacteria down, keeps the pool up to temp. Before we were running the boiler 24/7. It's constantly firing up. We were spending a fortune in gas. That will cut back on that. Percentages will follow. I couldn't give you a specific number, but and then when we put our new boiler in there, that also will increase. So it'll just increase productivity altogether. It's more comfortable. It's more eco-friendly. Yada yada yada. I did reestablish our contract with Cisco Solutions for our cleaning supplies. Before we were just kind of getting what we could from Home Depot, Remember, using things like Simple Green and this and that. They work, but they're kind of unpleasant. So Cisco Solutions offers a few more eco-friendly and cost-effective solutions.
SDSs, safety data sheets, another OSHA thing. Where do we keep our SDSs? Does every employee that works here know where they keep our SDSs?
I have them in the back, but now that we've reconfigured our program, we're going to have to reconfigure those.
Okay, and they need to be where they're accessible to all employees.
Absolutely.
So let's make sure we move that someplace where everybody can. In Rex, everybody needs to know where those are at, please.
Which is another reason why I switched this. We actually now use, it's essentially just the same chemical for everything. It's a hydrogen peroxide based chemical. It's efficient, it does what it's supposed to do, it kills the type of bacteria it needs to kill, but we can use it on the sinks, the toilets, the floors, the windows, everything.
Where are we storing them all?
Just in our SDS cabinet back here.
Okay.
It's just that and paper goods now.
All right.
Same thing with our paper goods. We were purchasing those from Home Depot before. We were unable to get the kind of paper towels that we needed for the paper towel dispensers. That's no longer an issue. We now get them in bulk.
Chlorine.
Chlorine we actually store out back on its own.
Good. And there's a 704 sign for that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, overall, with that, just more eco-friendly, definitely more cost-effective, and then I will have to order them as needed, as opposed to being on a kind of like an autofill contract. It just, because of the amount that it comes in, it just makes more sense. I talked about the network cabling, or the network housing cabinet that I put up back there. That is, sorry. Oh, there you go, sorry. I did do a walkthrough with the City of Oak Harbor's cross-connection specialist. He did have some minor concerns, some things that we do need to change. I won't go into detail. I will provide you with a more detailed report once the date gets closer. Just a few things. Our what's called an air gap in the back. It's where our feed water comes in, goes down to the tank. So we did have to make some adjustments. One of which I still need to make an adjustment to. The pipe's a little bit thicker to try and cut through with the tools that I have at hand. But that was something that needed to be addressed. It's been addressed 50% of the way. The other part will be addressed as soon as I get this the right tool. I may have to go rent it for an hour. All of the backflow preventers have been tested. We passed on all of those. One is still yet to be tested. That will be the one in the hot tub area. It won't be able to be tested until we get the hot tub back up and running, which is next. So WMS will be here this week. They were supposed to be here on the 1st, but due to a scheduling issue, they actually will probably be here more Wednesday or Thursday, so probably the 2nd or the 3rd. So it puts our completion date back for that a little bit, but not too much.
When do you think?
Probably, I don't see them working over the weekend, so I would say probably Wednesday of next week.
Next week.
And then give
Can-
me another.
And I hate to interrupt you,
No,
because you're
no
doing
problem.
great. Can we please put that on the Facebook page?
It is.
We
It
actually, we have.
And can we put it on our page somewhere?
Our page?
The
Website.
webpage? Yeah, the website. Put a notice or a banner that comes across there that says hot tub looks to be up
It's
and
the-
operational
It's the
by.
primary thing that you see.
Did I
when
just
you
miss
open
it?
up.
Okay,
On the website.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I keep getting emails and I'm like,
Oh, yeah, it's, I mean, that's
Right, number
the
one.
hotline issue here. That's
Brendan, you're
the-
welcome, hot tub update.
thank you very much, Julian.
Um,
I scroll right past it to get to my time, so I apologize. Thank you. No.
Another 2.5 weeks for water chemistry balance. Because of the finish we did use in there, it's going to be a little soft. It's hardened now, and it's okay to put water in, but we do have to be a little trepidatious with it when we put it in there. We are switching over to chlorine, and it was acid fed before. Acid is what destroyed the finish in the first place. I am in contact with Airgas to get some smaller bulk tanks for the CO2, the same thing that we use to control the pH in this pool. I would like to implement that here as well. It's the same thing, it's more comfortable, it's more eco-friendly, and it's a little bit more expensive, but the cost of the expense definitely, it outweighs the benefit, or the benefit outweighs the cost, excuse me.
And it will maintain the life of
It
that
will
solution.
absolutely, it will
Better.
absolutely. You could look at probably a 20-year increase in the finish of the pool. It still will need to be redone at some point, but nowhere near as quickly as it would be by using muriatic acid. It just completely heats it away.
So can I just add, so did I understand correctly? I'm just trying to make sure that, so our expectation is that it'll still be a couple of weeks before the hot tub is available.
We
Based on all of that.
should be
Okay.
up and running, have a fully functioning hot tub by, even an overstatement, first week of November.
Okay.
But I'm looking at more last week of October.
And November 1st is a fine, I mean, in my opinion, that's a fine thing to say, and then, and then if it's earlier, then
Christmas will come
hurrah!
early. Christmas will come
Exactly,
early.
and then, the masses will hoard, right? They're like, take a number!
And that's how I
Take a
feel about
number!
it. That's how I feel about it now, is because everybody has waited so long, it's, now that we actually have a date, it's like, okay, as long as we know something.
Yep.
Because until then, it's just been, nobody's really been able to have a clear-cut plan because what we were doing before was not working. Again, we did have to go in a direction. I don't know if I covered it before. I know that I mentioned it, but we did go in a different direction with the equipment. The pumps, the filter, everything, it was shot. And if I may speak boldly a little bit, you guys don't pay me to do anything half-ass. No. I've been doing this a long time. I take a lot of pride in what I do. If I'm going to do it, if I'm going to oversee it, I'm going to do it right. So I have all brand new equipment to go in. I've done away with the sand filters. I brought in high efficiency cartridge filters. I have been collaborating with the owner of WMS, Lyle, actually, on what to do about it. Just got new pumps in. Just actually, if you, on your way out, look back there, you can see our new boiler and our new filters and the rest
For the
of
hot tub?
it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So-
Is the door unlocked so we can go look?
They're in a box.
Oh, yeah, they're
Oh, okay.
So it's super exciting.
Yeah,
Big box of stuff.
And also,
it's like Christmas.
I would be remiss if I did not mention that I have been able to save us, with the help of Mr. Harden, actually, been able to save us quite a bit of money on our demolition. Dave did take some time to come in, and he actually cut out all the old plumbing, the old pumps, the old filter, got all of that out. Took out the old multi-port valve. I went in there after him and cleaned it up a little bit, took the rest of the plumbing out, took what I could out, covered some things up, and basically got it ready for them to come in, put everything in, and get out, which is what brought us to our 3 or 4 day completion mark of the plumbing and the installation of everything. It's cleaned up, it's ready to go.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. The demolition alone would have cost us a couple $1,000. And literally for about what took Dave, 4, 5, 6 hours to complete.
Or so.
So what was the overtime pay for that?
Exactly as his regular rate, unfortunately for Dave.
No, it was 1.5. I'm sorry, I was mistaken, yeah.
He got an extra 15-minute lunch break.
But I do have a question for Julie. You said, you have the banner with the hot tub. You do have the opening, you don't have it's gonna be done October 10th, right?
We have the work was scheduled to start October 1st, and that it would be a process of refilling it and testing systems out before it can be reopened. I would hesitate to put a firm date just because people take that as gospel, and if something happens, they get very upset.
Emails are getting
So-
We will still have to get air gas out here and get the bulk tanks installed and all that. I'm with them, I literally go off of, maybe this day. And they just kind of show.
And do we need to test the water, and I'm sorry to interrupt again, but do we need to test the water and everything from there like we did for the pool? Imagine.
100%,
Yeah.
absolutely. It will
So,
require another check.
The county will have to come out for
I'm
that.
hoping to kill two birds with one stone because she does need to do our fall inspection for the pool as well. So I'm hoping when she comes to do that, we can also go ahead and just get her out here.
That'd be great.
And get that
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I agree with Julie on a firm date because the emails I'm getting, and I think you guys have seen some of them too because they're to everybody. We've got some folks that
Yes.
really want that open and they get
And my plan would
frustrated.
be to
so.
start posting photos of the work as it's being done so that people can see the
That's a great
progress.
idea. Thank
I
you.
actually have a photo of everything on the pallet stacked, probably 8-9 feet high when they were
Perfect.
delivering it.
Perfect, thank you.
That's great, but I would reiterate that you probably need to say, we should have the equipment in by the 10th, but it will take at least 2 or 3 weeks to get the water stabilized.
I'd
Because
pull
otherwise
a
they-
Star Trek. Right? And promise the captain that I can get it done in 4 hours and then get it done in 40 minutes and then everybody's happy. So if we say before
Yes.
Thanksgiving and we open by the end of October, then Matt and by proxy your husband are heroes. All right? So
Like white mushrooms.
Well, and I agree with that, because when people see that it's being worked on, they think it's going to take 2 days.
And that's part of the reason why
Oh,
I'm
good
trying to
point.
make everything a little more visible so that people know, like, I'm not just going back there and putting a coupling in and filling it up with water, and this is a major project.
Okay.
Which is another reason why I opted to not handle it myself. Because, it may cost us a little more money, but we can expedite it, and it will absolutely be done by the best of the best, to the best of their ability. And absolutely will, 100%.
People were being told that we're waiting for a part, and that wasn't, it was like, yeah, we were, but that was just one part. So I wrote that other thing, we posted it, we also have a handout that if somebody wants information, we can tell them, and we can hand that to them. So
Oh, that's
nice. Okay.
No, that's great.
I did include that I have begun, I'm not really sure what direction it's going in right now. From what I understood, the high school wanted me to sign a contract to do their setup and their time management for their swim meets. So I did set up that I personally pulled everything out, tested it, got it up to date, make sure it was working, and I'm still setting it up for them currently. What direction we're going with that, I'm unsure. I think
You work for him.
You need to go to their district office.
and when I talk to Ty, he just kind of gives me the runaround.
Ty,
Or not Ty, I'm sorry.
Jared.
Jared.
I'm telling you, that's what you did.
Okay.
So you feel like you're their employee for that?
Well, that was what
That's
I
what he
was led to believe, yeah, that I did need to be an employee of the school district
Okay.
in order to be paid for that. Right now, I'm just doing it by, out of the goodness of my heart.
But do we have concerns about the fact that we have somebody working this much? But please, this isn't personal. I believe that you want to help, but I have concerns that you have a more than full-time job.
100%.
So I'm not sure that I'm
always do that for them before?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Which is another reason why I say if I'm going to do it, it should be their responsibility to pay me for it. It is not a burden that this district should. It's not a responsibility that we should have to accommodate.
What is it that you do for them?
Well, either that, or if it's something that we accommodate in the main contract, like there shouldn't be a separate contract because that contract is with you as an individual. But it's also I mean, I don't know what the contract says, but I would be concerned that there would be
So,
conflict of interest
yeah,
there
there's a
somewhere.
conflict, because I think the point's valid. We've always, and whether it's you or the prior Matt, we have always, in the lifespan of that contract, set up for them.
And that was my understanding as well.
So, you know, it was something we've always done in the past.
Right, and I don't have I have a problem with the fact that there are two contracts. That's what I have a problem with, like, to be really honest. And I remember some of the very first meetings I went to where we had a district employee that was working for another district to help them out.
Yes.
And I don't even remember how this all, so I'm not trying to just get back there, but there was huge discussion. I wasn't even on the board at the time, but there was huge discussion about, well, wait a minute, is your priority to work for this district, or is your priority to help them out, which is a nice thing, but wait, are you getting the money personally, or, and it just brings about, so meaning this isn't foreign, but really part of it is it our responsibility? And it sounds like in the past we've thought that it was, and if it is, then, and it's an expectation, a job expectation of you or anybody else in the district, you should be paid for it, but you should be paid for it by the district.
It should be included in the contract.
It should be part of the contract.
And I think part of the reason why, and I'm definitely in favor of this as well, I think part of the reason why it's been placed in my responsibility is because we own the equipment. I would rather, and I think everyone else would rather, see someone who is a paid employee of this district be responsible for the setup and breakdown of that in order to maintain.
And I don't think anybody probably has an issue with that, but here's my concern. Let's of keeping things the way that it currently is, you, Matt, are performing that job and you get hurt.
Where's the L&I come from?
True.
Absolutely.
These are things that
And those are, and I totally get where you're coming, you're trying to make it happen.
Right.
Totally get that, right? But part of it is who's owning this work, and it sounds like we should be trying to, and that should be part of this contract in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That actually is a very valid point, not one that I considered.
I mean, certainly we don't. We hope that we don't push that, right?
Well, something to consider, it's up to you guys, but in the way we talked about it with high school, it's extra income for them. And so it's like a different job, and he
So
becomes an employee for that,
he'd be a school district employee.
right, for that particular job. So if you don't want to do that, then he's going to add to his already over workload,
Right.
and he's going to be getting overtime on that. So that's something to consider.
Right, but if they're willing to pay him to do
No.
that personally, well, wait a second. If they're willing to pay him to do that as an employee, then they should be willing to pay in the contract for that to be done.
Well, they're not going to pay his rate in overtime, then they can hire somebody else to do it.
We need to get the assistant,
Yes.
so someone that's willing to take whatever paltry sum we're offering.
And if the answer was that they got someone else to do it, I'm concerned, and I certainly hope that this isn't, I mean, again, this is no personal offense, but if we already have a more than full-time job that you're taking care of, I'm worried about.
How much we put on your plate.
Absolutely.
You're worried about what?
How much we put on his plate. And how much overtime, yeah, I get where you're saying that this would
I would be
be,
remiss if I did not say I'm completely exhausted.
yeah.
Right, and so it's one of those things, like, again, when you look at one thing, when you look at this one thing by itself and go, yeah, okay,
But that's a
But
couple
you-
hours every week.
right.
And I actually, I also have to be here on the days that I'm off, just to come in, which I do that anyway, I come in just to check on things, but, a lot of the time, I just come just to kind of, make sure everything's okay, and
But in reality, that's not okay.
No.
I'm not, and I'm not telling you that I think you're doing anything wrong, but that's not okay. That's not a sustainable system. It's not good for you personally. It's not okay.
sure.
It's where we are at this moment. But our goal, we have to fix this, right?
And it is something that I personally have chosen to do for lack of a better term, for the greater good. Because I have put, and put so much work into this pool, and
What's your repeating assistant? Just to check.
I don't know.
I'm actually not 100% sure.
What's the hourly
I don't
rate
think that I
assistant?
have.
Page 80, where does it go?
Yeah, just like
Hold on, I got a lot of pages.
77?
80, no, it's the last one. No, I lied. That's the comparables. Other side. Julie, what page did you put the payroll on?
I don't know that number's in this packet.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well,
I
wait,
don't
because
know
we
that-
don't have one, so it
Yeah,
wouldn't be
no.
on
Oh,
this.
okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was like, I'm just showing.
That's right, it would be on, we're looking for something that's not,
Because I'm like, everyone's looking, I don't know what I'm looking for.
Range was minimum wage to 15.
so it's at 15.
I think it's minimum wage to 15 is the range on the salary scale from the handbook.
Oh, that's right, what's minimum wage now? It's 11 something?
It's 12.
It's 12.
12,
And
thank
it's
you.
13.50 at the beginning of the year.
And unfortunately, in order to get the right kind of candidate, because again, I must admit, I'm very, very picky on who I bring in for this particular position. In order to get a halfway feasible candidate, I would need to stretch the budget. I would need to go on the higher end of, of that
Right.
scale. I would need to go for that 15.
Well, here's the deal, so, I mean, we haven't approved that whole thing yet, right? That's part of, so can I ask you to, so you and I are gonna be talking about some of this. Can I ask you to send one or both of us here's what I'd like to do, copy you on it, is that fair? And I mean, you guys obviously talk about it, but what do we think is realistic? What's gonna help us? Because the closer we get to somebody who can do what you do, the more that we can alleviate. Like, I can't sit here and say, but I don't want you doing those things, and say,
Yeah.
yeah, but we should be able to pay somebody $12 an hour.
Sure.
Right? That's not fair.
Sure.
Right? For certain things, that's okay. Right? But not for everything. And so part of what we're trying to do is balance quality of life and make these jobs reasonable.
Right.
Then I would ask you guys to can you feed us back something so that we can put it into the changes we're making and bring it back to the board. So again, those numbers are undone. Those are not approved numbers as of right now. Can we take a look at can you take a look at what you think it should be and get back to us? Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And again, I certainly hope that this is not taken as me, pissing them off.
No, not at all.
And
Don't worry about that.
I sincerely enjoy what I do, and it brings me a great amount of pleasure to look at what this is now as opposed to what it was before, and know that I've put as much time and effort into it as it is. But I have to face the realistic perspective of I do have a family, I do actually have kids. Well, not my kids, but they're my kids.
And we're trying to do this right. That's the thing. Is we
I
can
just think, they take time.
right, but if we're not on the right page right now on that one, let's fix it now.
Sure.
Let's just do it the first time. Let's do it. And it might change then how you're looking at what you might end up updating your job description related to that, and maybe you'll get something. Maybe it'll.
And actually, in light of, due to recent events and the responsibilities that I've taken on, it probably would not be a bad idea to update my job description. Not in reference to my pay scale, but just for clarity and transparency.
And if you have suggestions, so then what I'd ask you for that is if you have suggestions for if you read that description and you say, well, kinda, or yeah, that and 27 other things, or, if you could put those things again, like that, we can't make that up for you.
Right.
Like that's where, we're just gonna be stewards of that information.
Right. And it happens on such a day-to-day basis that, we use a board, we meet once a month. So it's, there's no way to really, because of the way they happen, there's no way to really predict them in a way that, I can say, oh yeah, by the way, it just kind of happens like it does now. It goes from, this day I was a maintenance man, and then, the next time I'm maintenance AFO, electrician, groundskeeper.
And that's a really valid, I mean, that's a super valid point, because I think that's one thing that hasn't always been well understood, right? It took us time to understand that. I mean, and that actually some of those roles, because in reality, if you're having a hard time finding things, it might actually even be a better idea to split some of those things out, because they might actually be different people.
Most definitely.
You know, because
Used to be.
well, I don't know that. I mean, all I know is the way that we had it. And previously, the maintenance assistant really was the person who came and treated and checked on the weekends more than anything else.
Right.
And I think probably validated that some other things got done, but that was pretty much it.
So
And so that's where that price range, I think, comes from.
And that's one of those things, when it comes to the pool, I'm more focused on the building itself. When it comes to the pool,
Yeah.
that is, without a doubt, it's my baby. And I know that sounds kind of, but it is. Because I don't, in that aspect, I don't just answer to Mr. Coriel, I answer to you all, to a lesser degree. I answer to the health department to, a ridiculous degree. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. The health department comes in and Greg comes in and says, I would like this. It doesn't matter what my job has this. I don't have one. Or even to the cross-connection specialist. He comes in and says, I don't like this, which actually, there again, there are changes need to be made. You have a year to do them. I'll have a little more detailed report once everything's complete, but actually that's one of the things. You know what, that's okay. I have an issue that I'd like to bring up, but I think we'll probably handle that a little more in-house. There was a pool closure about a week ago that was approved, but it was approved on due to a misunderstanding. And I took it really personally. I felt like it really made me look stupid as an AFO. We're running short on time, and I feel like it'll take.
Okay. I have no clue what you're talking about right now, but okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Are you
seeing that the pool got closed. Did we get notification of that?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right. I don't read my emails.
Okay.
Are you looking for us to do something, or are you just concerned about telling your...
No. That's why I say
Okay.
I think it would be better suited to handle a little more in-house. I think it's more of a infrastructural issue.
Okay. So you don't want to bring the issue to the board?
No.
Okay, perfect.
That's mine.
All right, further staff reports. Good?
I welcome the opportunity for questions.
Okay. I have no questions. Pat?
No.
Thomas? Lenny?
No, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the info.
Absolutely.
Further staff reports. Attendance looked good for the month. Thank you for putting the note in about it's hard to compare this year to 2017 due to the way things were broken down in 2017. I do appreciate that. Looks like swim school's coming along swimmingly. And
Did you just har him?
she
I
did.
did.
She did.
But it was a very sarcastic har.
It was, extremely. Rex, thank you for putting in all the comment cards. They're nice to read, both the positive and negative, so thank you. I saw, how are we doing on public records requests? I know those two are a bear, so how are we on answering those?
So I have to follow up with our former insurance company again and see where they're at. My initial conversation with them was not very helpful, I think because you're not their client anymore.
Right.
Our current insurance company directed me to go to the previous insurance company for the information, so I'm still working on it.
So if it's a record we don't normally keep,
I think that we could get away with just saying that we do not have it here.
and that they need to contact the former insurance because we don't not keep a copy of this record. That may be the way to go, because the way the OPMA is, if we don't normally keep a copy of that record, then we're not, okay.
I am just uncertain why we do not have a copy of it here somewhere, and that concerns me.
Well, he
We
went,
don't have a copy.
Rhett, correct me if I'm wrong, you went through a lot of boxes to look for that damn thing.
And the nature of the documents they're requesting is all stuff from Like, I think that was just happening, wrapping up when I was hired here 6 years ago. So there's not anyone on staff here to go back and be, you know. to
Those
question
records
or
were all
whatever.
kept as the one person that was here through it. We didn't keep records here.
Yeah.
Those records were kept by
The
lawyers for the other insurance companies. So I imagine that's where that public records request needs to go.
Yeah,
I mean, just to add to that, I know that the very little that we were involved in, we never got copies of anything. Like, I don't have any paperwork or received any paperwork for it. Our involvement was always related to discussions. And so everything that I'm aware of was oral, just to back up that, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have.
I was
And that's what
deposed,
I had-
yeah.
Yes, and that's what I had found also.
3 of us were deposed, even though we weren't here during the indicating time frame. And it was like the shortest disposition. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. And there were no district records, I will say on record, there were no district records for that. You know, so there were 2 lawyers in the room and there was somebody taking notes for the 2 lawyers. So I imagine that those law firms have those notes.
Okay.
And then the other one for the emails, how are we doing on
The
that?
other one for the emails, I just need to have, I think it's just Jenny's that I need to have, and then I'll get this up. I have a little issue with my Outlook right now. When they installed my new computer system, they gave me a trial version, so I don't have access to my desktop version of Outlook, which means I can't access all of the things I normally can through the desktop, and 365 doesn't give me access to it all, so it's taking a little extra time.
Okay. Any other questions on staff reports? Rex, we will put your presentation, obviously, this one's late, so it would have pushed us way over time. So let's put it at the unfinished business for next month. So it's the first item, all right? All right. All right, final board comments. Commissioner Harden,
none?
Commissioner Shingleton,
None, thank you.
Commissioner Holly.
I would like to nominate Dave Harden as volunteer of the month, the year. He is awesome.
Noted.
That's all.
Can we do something for that? Maybe in the lobby somewhere?
Sure.
Picture of Dave, embarrass the heck out of him.
I was gonna say,
Hold on, before I embarrass Dave too much, and hopefully he's not listening to the minutes, do we need Dave to do anything more? No. More importantly, Pat, will you let Dave do any more? And then, what does, I'll ask you the question offline. I have a question for you after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, let's do that out in the lobby,
okay.
all right? And then, the second part I'll personally take care of. So,
Well, that sounded creepy, but I don't think you meant for it to, but it's
No.
not creepy. It did.
was it creepy?
No, I thought it sounded like an ice cream
Sounded
cake.
creepy.
I think it sounded exactly like an ice cream cake.
If anybody's
Now
like,
that
Thank
we would
you.
like.
See,
okay,
there we go.
okay.
Don't
Well,
give them a lifetime
Why did you go
membership to
creepy?
swim.
I just was
I
gonna,
have no final board comments. Our next
I was
scheduled
gonna tell
meeting,
Pat to just be looking for
our
like
next scheduled
slow-moving
meeting
vehicles
is
by our house.
Thursday. I
Kill
drive
the
by it all the time.
lights.
Thursday, October the 24th at 6:30 p.m. If there's nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. The motion is adjourned at, hold on, oh, come on.
The meeting.
The meeting is adjourned, thank you, not the motion, at 8:46 p.m.
We stayed too long tonight.